Hello crafty friends, it is Jessica here. Welcome back to Jessie Kate Creates. In today's video, we are going to be using some scraps from our collection kits. And I know y'all got them. I got a ton of them and I know y'all got them too. And we're using them up today to make some very beginner friendly cards. But I just want to let you guys know two things. One, the first half of this video is shot a little funky. I did not have access to my craft space when I was filming it, so it's a little bit of like some free range crafting and I couldn't really get any overhead shots. But the second half of the video, it's like kind of back to business as usual. The other thing I wanted to let you know, this video is long. I didn't have a plan for it when I was filming. I was just filming what I was doing. So this video is a little bit on the longer side. I put timestamps in the description box. So if you just want to skip to parts of the video that you're interested in, you can do that. But because this is a longer video, go ahead, grab a snack, grab a drink, settle in, and let's make some very beginner friendly cards using the scraps we all have in our collection. We're gonna do some paper tearing for these cards, and I have a collection that, have I used it in other videos? I'm not sure if I have or not, but it's a collection that I've almost used up. So it is the Pebbles Cozy and Bright collection. I know this is a really old collection. And what I have left, so we have the cover, which I see a lot of people use the covers of their paper pads. I've never done it before, but maybe I'll give it a go. So we have the cover, have 5 full sheets still left. Some larger scraps and quite a few smaller scraps. This collection also came with a few cut-aparts. They had cut-aparts like this. They also had some tag cut-aparts. So I cut those down and I just have been keeping them in this little baggie. And then I also have these stickers. You can see I've used a lot of them. Not all of them, but I have used a lot of them. So yeah, I have a lot of cut-aparts, I have a lot of sentiments, and I have some paper. I want to bust these. I want to use these up. And I have been in Christmas craft fair prep mode lately. So we're just riding that train. So I think I'm going to cut down a lot of my scraps to be either 4 1/4 wide or 5 1/2 wide. I don't really care if my cards are portrait or landscape. I just want to kind of make the best use of the paper. So I'm going to go cut some of these down with my paper trimmer. Okay, we're back. So these are my cut down papers. A lot of these have been cut down either to 4 or 4 1/4. I will probably trim everything to be 4 inches, but I wanted to do 4 1/4 just to give myself a little bit of leeway. So I have these. I also cut a bunch of them down to be 5 1/2 because it worked out with the paper. And then this is what's left over from the full pages that I cut. So now I'm just gonna start tearing, you guys. Nothing fancy here. So literally just kind of tearing. Trying a little bit to manipulate it so that I get some interesting tear lines. And on each piece of paper, I'm tearing it like this. And when you tear your paper, you're gonna notice the piece that you're tearing towards you has a clean edge and the piece you're tearing away from you has a white edge. I'm gonna try to tear these so that most of my pieces have both a clean edge and a white edge, so that just gives me a little bit more versatility in how I want to use them. I'm also not paying a lot of attention to how wide I'm tearing them. Some are wider, some are a little skinnier. I'm just gonna keep tearing a bunch of paper. I'm just using the same method I've already mentioned. And I'll catch up with you once all my paper is torn. So I've gone ahead and torn up a whole bunch of scraps. Oh, try not to throw them, from different patterns that I had left. And then I also took this time to cut up. This is just scrap paper that I have, and I cut it to 5.5 by 4.25. And the next thing I'm going to do is just work on gluing down various strips of the paper onto these, just to create some interesting backgrounds. I really like when the white edge of the paper shows. I think it creates a nice definition between all of the various patterns. So I like, it kind of looks like that. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen this technique before. It's nothing new, but with the colors in this pattern paper, I thought this would be a really cute design. So I'm just gonna go ahead and glue a whole bunch. I don't know which way I'm gonna do it, but I'm just gonna glue a whole bunch of these down. The nice thing is that every background is going to be a little bit different and a little bit unique. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get to gluing stuff down, and I will come back once I've made a couple backgrounds and kind of show you the next steps. So here you guys can see I'm just putting these backgrounds together. I'm just taking random strips and gluing them together. I will say this footage has been sped up quite a bit, I'm sure you can tell. The other thing is this is really just some free range crafting. I found space where I could. On this day it happened to be in a bedroom with my craft mat, and I just had a video turned on. I love watching videos or shows when I am doing craft tasks like this that don't require a lot of thought or attention to detail. Are you guys the same way? Do you like to craft along with other creators, or watch a show, or listen to an audiobook? Or are you more of like a Zen craft in silence type person? I'm so curious. Let me know in the comments down below. But I also wanted to show you guys what I did with the scraps from tearing up all of my paper. I saved all the like tiny little torn strips from when I was making my backgrounds. You can see I have a whole bunch of them. Some of them are bigger than others, because when I was doing it, I realized these would be perfect to decorate the inside of the cards and still keep that like torn paper feel. So that's what I'm doing now. I've just done 2 so far. I just went ahead and took the scraps and glued them just to a piece of like 65-pound cardstock that I will use to line inside of my cards like I normally do. But I just wanted to show that to you guys. From those 5 pieces of paper and all the scraps, I was able to make 34 panels. Can you believe that? So next what I need to do is trim some of these down. As you can see, because I was using scrap paper, some of them weren't quite wide enough. In some instances, the panel's too long to fit onto an A2 sized card. So yeah, I just need to go tidy and trim up all of these panels so I'll be able to use them. These are all going to end up being different sizes. Some of them I might leave 5.5 by 4.25. Some might get a 1/4 inch trimmed off all the way around. Some I have a feeling are going to be even smaller than that. So they're all going to be a little bit different, but that's what's going to make these so much fun. And I wanted to show you, after using up all those scraps, this is what I have left. And then most of the stuff in the front are the sentiments and cut aparts that I'm hoping to use on the cards themselves. So this is everything I have left from that paper pad right now. Okay, so I'm going to trim some things down with my handy dandy paper trimmer, and I will get back to you from there so we can start building the cards together. Okay, so now that I have all my backgrounds, I just want to show you how I put together a few cards using the tags from the set. That's what I used for most of the cards. And then after I make a couple, I'll show you all of the cards I created. So for all of these cards, they're A2 cards, so I'm using white card bases that are 4.25 by 5.5, and this is accent opaque 100-pound cardstock. Now all of the panels for my cards are slightly different in size. Some take up the full card base, some it's a panel like this where you get a little bit of a border. It just depended on how big my scraps were, how I cut down my panels. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and add this to my card base. Just slide this and wiggle around to make sure it's centered. And I think that looks good. Okay. So now for my tags, and I will say for all of my tags, the paper was kind of thin, so I backed it with some cardstock here. You can see I just used scraps just so the tag would be a little stronger. And one thing I like about a lot of the tags in this collection, I don't know if you guys can see it really well. The camera's not picking it up, but there are a lot of glitter accents in this collection, and I think it just makes it so cute. So I took a tag. I have already used my We Are Memory Keepers Crocodile to punch a hole in this. And I'm going to add a bow to my tag. There are a couple different ways you can add bows to cards. One thing I like to do is I will use my tweezers. See, that way I can kind of see where the string is. Just use my tweezers to grab it and pull it through. For me, that's a little bit easier. That's how I like to do them. So just pull it into a little loop. And then, I don't know, but for whatever reason, I find my bows work out better if I kind of tie them upside down. But I am no bow tying expert. Bows are something I struggle with. So much so that I actually I purchase pre-made ribbon bows all the time, especially for holiday crafting. That's when I use bows the most. Oh, that one came out really good on the first try. Go, Jessica. Okay, but I do want to show you really quick. If you don't like tying bows or you're not good at tying bows, I sometimes will buy these little pre-made bows. I didn't want to use them for this project. I was fine just, using some white twine to tie my bows, but that is always an option if bows are not your style, or if you just struggle with tying bows. So now I'm just going to cut the ends. I think that looks good. So now our tag is ready to go. So I'm going to pop this up to add some dimension to my card. You definitely do not have to do this, and honestly, when I first was making these cards, I told myself I wasn't going to add dimension, and I think there might be one card that's the tag is not popped up, but I don't know why I always say I'm not going to add dimension, because inevitably I end up adding it to my cards. It's so good. It makes such a difference on cards. So, and I usually find that one layer of foam tape doesn't really make it more difficult to mail. So as long as I just have one layer, I'm usually fine with mailing things. Okay. Now I'm gonna peel off the backing. And you could put your tag anywhere on the card. I'm gonna put this one in the lower corner, kind of like that. I think that's cute and a little bit different. Is that crooked? I'm not pressing down until I know I've got it perfectly positioned how I want it. Right now I'm just holding the card up in front of me and it looks straight to me. So I'm gonna press that down. Oh, that bow is so cute. Okay, now something I like to do with my bows to keep them from unraveling. See right here on the back of the bow, I just go ahead and put some glue back there. I'm not necessarily trying to glue the bow to the back of the card, although you can. I'm mainly just trying to get some glue there so that this bow won't come undone. Now for this bow, the tag or the little, I don't mind the ends being a little frayed like that. But I'll show you on another card. Sometimes I do glue down the tips of my bows just so that they look exactly how I want them to. Okay, so for this next card, I did not show the full process because making all of these cards was pretty much the same, but I did want to show you what I was talking about with how I get the tails of my twine positioned like I want it. So for this card, I added down the background. I did add a sub-sentiment for this one. Then I popped the tag up on foam tape, and now we'll get into what I did with the twine. Now for the ribbon on this, I don't really have enough space to tie a bow. So what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna manipulate the ribbon so that it creates a pretty little swoop. Okay, these are way too long. Okay, there we go. Just like that, kind of on the card. So first things first, I'm gonna put a little glue down right here. Stick those down. And I need a little bit right here, I think. So just put some more glue and just move the ribbon into that, or the twine into that glue. So a little longer than I need them to be. So I think I'm gonna have it end there. So we'll do a little bit of glue here. A little bit right here at the tips. There. And now no matter what happens to this card, that little swoop is going to stay like that. If you like that, that's a little trick for you. If you don't and you like it when the ribbon moves around, then you can do that too. But I just prefer it when I know it's not going to move or budge. So now I want to show you guys how I finished off the inside of these cards. As you can see, I have the inserts that I made earlier using the leftover scraps of torn paper, and I'm just gluing those to the inside of my cards. If you don't want to use liners in your cards, you don't have to, but I really love to use them, and I thought this was a great way to use up some of my scraps. As you can see, I kept the inside of these blank. I might go back and stamp a sentiment down the road, but for now, I'm really happy with how these turned out. All right, you guys, all the cards at this point have been made. We ended up making 33 cards. I'm going to show you all of these in just a second, but first I want to show you what I have left over of this collection. As you can see, the other side, I used everything here. I used almost everything here except for some small little accent pieces, which, you know, they'll go into the general card making supply. You can see I do still have some bits of the paper left over, not a ton, and I think these might move into like general Christmas making supplies. You can see I used most of the collection that I had. Okay, so now let's get into the 33 cards that we made. So this was the first one. I loved this background, so I kept it simple and just added one of the sentiment tags from the paper pack. Boom, that was the card, super simple. For this one, the bottom of this Christmas tag said to and from, and I really didn't want that, so I just covered it up with one of the stickers from the sticker sheet, and I thought that looked really cute. This is also one where one of the edges had like the torn edge, and I thought that was really cute for the card as well. Next up, just a simple card with just the tag and the bow. Again, a lot of these tags do have those glitter accents, which really add something to the cards. And for this one, both the top and the bottom edge have that torn edge, and I really like that look as well. A lot of tags coming up on these cards. Nothing fancy with these ones, just kind of taking the same layout and running with it. For some of the cards, I did angle the tag, and that is a great tip if you struggle to get things lined up like if you tend to have things crooked on your card, by purposely making them off center, then it looks purposeful and it doesn't look like an accident or that you didn't line it up straight. So that is definitely something that you could do. Another simple tag card. We're going to see a lot of these. This one right here, though, I think is probably my favorite card. I just think this image is so cute and so sweet. I really love this one. Where possible, if I could make 2 of the same card, I did, just because it was less thinking for me, less decision making, which is one why I use the same layout on most of these cards, but some of them you'll see are basically duplicates. For this one, I did have a couple of the like 3x4 cut aparts left over, so I trimmed them down a little bit so there wasn't as much excess space, and a lot of these I matted with, you can see here, just some glitter cardstock. And this is one of the few cards that is completely flat. There's no foam tape. The paper wasn't quite wide enough, so I just left a white border on both sides. Same thing here, except for this one, I did go ahead and pop up that cut apart on a little bit of foam tape. I think it's a really simple way to add dimension and interest to the card, just to add a little bit of foam tape. Same thing here. This was such a fun collection. A part of me is really sad that I've basically used it up, but a part of me is like very joy-filled that I was able to get that much use from the collection and that I'm going to be passing that on to others. This one was really fun because I decided to give the full panel a torn edge. I think this one would have looked really cute too if I'd mounted it on colored cardstock, like maybe a red or a green or like one of the blues, but I already had my white card bases ready to go, so I just stuck with that for all of the cards. And again, mounted up, pretty much all of these are, and you can see just that little leftover strip on the inside. And again, basically the same card, but without the torn edges. Next up, we have 2 Santa tags. I thought these were really fun. Again, these are ones where you can see I glued down the tails of the tags so that they wouldn't go too crazy on the card. Also, these images didn't have sentiments, so I used some cut aparts from the collection to add sentiments to these cards. Same thing with these cute little snowmen tags. I just went ahead and added in sentiments from the collection. One of the things that's nice about when you use a collection is, for the most part, everything is going to go together, so you don't have to think as much about like, oh, is this going to pair with that other thing, because you know everything in the collection usually goes together. For these 2, both of the tags said to and from, but again, I really didn't want that on the card because that's not how I was using the tags. So I just put little stickers from the sticker sheet over the to and from, so they just look like cute little tags, and I was really happy with how both of these turned out. Next up, I think these are the only 2 cards where the panels were big enough to cover the entire card front. So I used one of the bigger tags that I had, since I had a lot of extra space on these 2. I'm so happy with how they turned out. Now this is one of the ones we made on camera together, but one of the ones I made off camera, there was like, I hadn't glued the edge of this down completely, so I was able to tuck the tag into the torn paper, and I love the look of this. I think that came out so fun. You can see the bottom's not popped up, but the top is, and I just thought that was super duper cute. I wanted to do that with the other ones, but on all the other sheets, all the layers were glued down better, so I didn't have the ability to slide it under, but I thought what a cute look on that card. And again, 2 of the same card because it just made life easier to make them the same. All right, and then these 2. These cards didn't need a sub-sentiment, but I thought it would just be really fun to add to the card, and I had them on hand, so I added them. And that's as simple as decision making has to be sometimes. It's there and I want to use it, so I will. These 2, I didn't add the sub-sentiment, and I think they're still super cute. Now these last 3 cards, I ran out of tags, so I just used some of the pattern paper I had to make my own tags. I used one of the sentiments from one of the cut aparts, and I just added a sticker from the collection on, and I thought this was a really cute one too. So you can totally make your own tags. Same thing here. And this last one, I just made a bigger collage with some of this was towards the end when I was really trying to use up those stickers. So I just made a collage with some of the stickers I had left. I also decided I think it's just these last 2 cards. For the insides, I used some of the stickers to decorate the inside of the card. One, because I was out of the torn strips of pattern paper that I used in the other cards, and 2, to use up more of those stickers. So there we have it. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. That I was able to make 33 cards just from scraps, leftover scraps from my collection. So I hope that this inspires you to go grab one of your half-finished collections and just use up what you have left, bust it up and get it done. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps me out. It helps other people to find my channel. And if you want to see all the videos I put out, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you ring the notification bell, you'll get notified every time I put out a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in another video. Bye!